folks. We are deep in the thick of summer, perhaps a little hot and sticky for you. Hopefully you're enjoying this episode in a nice, cool, air-conditioned environment, or you're watching this while you're at the beach, wherever you choose. I'm glad you're here, and I'm really glad my guest today is here, Erik Wallin of Operation Stand Down, Rhode Island. He's the executive director. He does so many different things over there, and it's an organization that, if you've never been introduced to what they do, simply put, it's a hand up, not a handout. Erik, good to see you, sir.
Good to see you as well.
You got the official the flags displayed prominently behind you there. I mean, this is as official as it gets. You are an Air Force veteran.
Yes.
And you've done you were in for a while, and you were an attorney, you were a JAG, all that other
all that exciting stuff.
Yes. It's
People always ask me when I was in the Air Force, what did I fly? And as I always say, commercial.
Well, hey, it's either that or a desk.
Exactly.
But you have been part of this organization for quite some time. Obviously, I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to Tony DeQuattro, the founder of Operation Stand Down, Rhode Island. He would certainly, well, they might not find me after if I did not give proper accolades to Tony, but you guys have just done such an amazing job over the years running this organization. And then we run into this pandemic that we've been in since March. You serve a unique demographic. Why don't you explain, for those who may not be aware, of who you serve and what kind of services you offer?
Sure. Operation Stand Down is Rhode Island's largest and leading nonprofit provider of supportive services for veterans in need in Rhode Island. And when we speak about supportive services, it's really about everything that a veteran who finds himself in crisis might need in order to get themselves back on the road to pursuing and enjoying the American dream that they wore the uniform to protect and defend. So we own and operate over 88 units of housing in the state of Rhode Island for veterans. Some of this is permanent housing, some of it transitional housing, as well as a sober living housing program. We also help hundreds of other veterans throughout the course of the year by paying security deposits, first month's rent, back rent, and in even several months' rent. This is really for those who have either, for example, lost a job, had a health crisis, just had some, unfortunate circumstance interrupt their life. And this short-term temporary financial assistance gets them back on the road and into stable housing, which is really kind of the beginning of everything. And then after that, we have a robust employment and training program, placing hundreds of veterans every year into very good paying jobs, permanent jobs, not temporary jobs.
Sure.
And in the last couple of years, and it's one of the programs we've expanded and continue to expand and find to be very important, is our legal program.
Okay.
We provide assistance with both initial applications for VA disability as well as appeals. We do Social Security disability benefits. We help veterans get through the Veterans Treatment Court here in Rhode Island, as well as driver's license restorations. And then, very simply, we give out food. We give out, health and beauty aids and things like that, because these are all expensive items, and sometimes it just smooths the edges a bit.
No, it's so important what you've done, and we'll talk about the legal stuff in just a moment. But when you look at all the news, all the science, all the reports, the aging veteran community, and understandably, you help veterans regardless of how old they are. If they're a veteran and in need of service in Rhode Island, you work with them. You obviously work with a lot of agencies throughout New England and the country, similar organizations that provide similar services. But this whole coronavirus, COVID-19, really targeted the older folks, people with compromised immune systems or underlying health conditions. And I know it's a significant portion of people that fall into that category that you're serving there. So what has that been like, going through all this as this whole season has unfolded and we've learned so much about it?
Sure. Well, back in March, when it became evident that things were, going south quick, so to speak, we were contacted by the state of Rhode Island to attempt to get the veterans who were in the shelter system, who were over, a certain age or who might have had medical conditions, to get them out immediately from the shelters, because obviously, that is an area where COVID would spread very quickly, just given the grouping of people in a small living area. So Operation Stand Down immediately, within, quite frankly, less than 2 or 3 days, we're able to put dozens of veterans into a Motel 6 down in Warwick, as well as some others, and keep them there. We're paying the tab for that.
Wow.
And keep them there while we try to figure out what's the long-term plan. It was a real challenge. Many of these veterans are ones who, sometimes by choice, sometimes just because of circumstances that make it difficult to connect with them, have been in the shelter system for a long time.
Sure.
So interesting, development. We do an event called Stand Down Weekend every year, where we build a military tent city in Cumberland, and we bring all the resources to one location. And each year, about 500 veterans attend this. So as we were looking out at these veterans down at Motel 6, how can we begin this process of moving them on, so to speak, to a more stable living environment? We took that similar approach. We brought our housing, our employment, and our legal team down to Motel 6 and literally set up in Jefferson Boulevard, with some tents in a grass area. The VA joined us as well. We partner with the VA for obviously a lot of services. And what we found is, these veterans, many of them were not enrolled in the VA system at all.
Oh, wow.
Our legal team was able to identify that they were eligible for multiple different support benefits. Many of them also had disabilities that were service connected that they've never sought assistance for. And others were really ready and able to get to work. So, this was just last Thursday, and it was a gratifying sense, because we think we're really going to be able to impact the majority of them and probably not have them have to return back to the shelter system. So that was one of the most dramatic things. And then the other was, and this involves another part of what we do, we don't just help those who have served. We help those who are serving.
Okay.
And as many Rhode Islanders saw, the Rhode Island National Guard stepped up in a very big way to assist Rhode Island through the COVID-19 crisis. We have a lot of ties to the Guard. All of my employees have served and are veterans or immediate family members of veterans here at Stand Down. And many of my employees were actually currently serve in the Guard, including Captain Dee DeQuattro, who I know, Ben, and she was the founder of Boots on the Ground. And I've got Martin Kemp and Jim Duncanson and Lindsay Arigno, all currently serving. Wow. So we knew that for a lot of Guard members, especially young ones, they were going to be impacted significantly by the economic effects of being called to duty. Many had already lost their jobs because of COVID-19 shutdowns. And so the families were struggling, and we made a significant amount of resources available to help them to pay things like, a quick rent bill, a car bill, an insurance bill, things that they were trying to catch up on as the military tried to get caught up on paying them. So these are a couple of areas that, were significantly impacted with COVID-19 and how we had to react to it.
It always impresses me that sometimes the smallest obstacle is what is needed to overcome, and you just find these veterans or people who are currently serving that just they're standing underneath that little bit of a mountain, or just they just can't see the clearing just beyond, and that's the stumbling block for them. But the events, and the stories are incredible that come out of the Operation Stand Down weekend, which you mentioned you do, and then obviously last weekend with last week rather, when you kind of brought it all to them there, bringing everything to that one-stop shop. If a veteran has to go over here for one service, then they have to track all the way over here for another thing, and if they have to do that multiple times in a day, and they don't have the access to, they're depending either on a taxi, Uber, Lyft, or Ripta, they're kind of screwed, because it's too much for them, and that's where they get defeated. But the stories of you and your team just bringing this to them, and it's the tiniest little obstacle, in our eyes, but to them, it's a mountain. You guys help them over that mountain. You guys help them put that to rest, and they excel. They thrive afterwards. In most cases, not every case, but it makes a big difference. That is such an awesome way. And the standout for people who don't know, you say it's an encampment. For people who don't know what that means, if they've never served, if they've never seen the photos or what it is you've done there, just describe it, because the way I see it, I've seen it. It's kind of like MASH meets MASH meets modern day meets, just a really incredible group, and you have literally people from all across the country who come in to help support it.
Exactly. It's a good way to describe it. I don't know how many more people are going to remember MASH. It's I've used that comparison when I've gone and spoken at high schools, and I get a weird look. But it is.
I only know MASH because Ed Stanford was my grandfather, and he was in the guard, and he showed me MASH, and I appreciate the humor, but nonetheless.
So it has developed significantly over the years. You mentioned Tony DeQuattro. This organization started really to just host this single weekend, and now we're a full-time organization with 23 real professionals in all different areas helping veterans. But the stand down weekend is our big event. It's an outreach event. The courts come. We have dental care there with hygienists and people cleaning teeth, doing cancer screenings, the VA providing medical screenings, podiatry, ophthalmology, mental health, substance abuse counseling, a full kitchen, sleeping quarters, you name it. It's a small city, and we put it up with a great deal of help from volunteers, and we put it up in about 4 days, use it for 2.5 and tear the thing down and put it back in the trailer. But the work that we do there is really carried throughout the year here at Stand Down. And but it's an important part of our legacy, and it's important outreach to those who are the most vulnerable.
You folks have been also greatly supported by Cardi's Furniture and Mattresses. They provide pillows for the weekend, along with a lot of other support. But they're always there, because the veterans need a place to lay their head, and you folks help with that. And most importantly, the veterans take those pillows home with them. So that's
Well,
always a
Ben, you talk about the connections, and really, we are blessed with having made a lot of good ones throughout the years, and to have the support of people like the Cardis, and even you yourself, Ben. I just want to give a shout out to you. As you know, we have actually the Boots on the Ground for Heroes Memorial, which we've put up at Roger Williams Park, and most recently at Fort Adams, the display of nearly 7,000 boots, each representing a fallen hero, a service member who lost their life in action in the global war on terror. We've done that year in and year out. It was the idea initially of Captain D. DeQuattro, our development director and communications director. And it was an idea which was brought to life through the hard work of our team and other volunteers, including some Gold Star families. And we were really, this year, it was very difficult for us to have to not be able to do that full display.
Sure.
And Ben, we reached out to you with the idea of trying to at least do a virtual display of the Rhode Island boots.
Yeah.
So that we could carry on that tradition, and also to recognize all those that have been killed in the past year since the last display. You stepped up. You did an amazing and beautiful job with the production of that and your time. And I can't thank you enough and enough for the support that we've had, both for Boots on the Ground for Heroes and for Operation Stand Down, by you personally, the Cardis as well,
Sure.
And so many others.
Well, I'll if you say anything more about me, I'm going to edit it out. It's enough about me. This is all about you guys.
Wow.
I have the final say in that. No, but you're right, and it was really incredible to be able to take that memorial virtual. It seemed like a restriction in the beginning because the display. If folks haven't seen it, it's just it is jaw dropping. It'll stun you when you first see the massive display that has been in the past. This year it felt restrictive not being able to have it, but like so many things have happened during this season, it opened up a new opportunity to bring it virtual and to showcase it. And I know just from looking at just the tracking data that it was viewed by many countries around the world. It was viewed by many people in the United States, and all the services that you do, all these systems that you provide and support you offer, it takes funds. And I know that in the past this has become a huge fundraiser to really help what the mission is, and hopefully going forward as time continues, it will continue to help fund it because, like you said, you have those veterans that needed to be isolated for their own health and safety at a different location. You're picking up the tab for that, and a lot of people, have supported you over the past. There is opportunities for people to still continue to get involved, which is great, and we can always click on the links for that. What is the plan going forward? I mean, I'm assuming that this year may not be able to continue looking the same with the stand down operation, but where does that sit right now?
So, like everybody else, we're kind of closely monitoring the developments. We know we're not going to have a sleepover situation at Stand Down Weekend. It's just not one that we can handle safely, obviously. The current plan is to again hold it on the third weekend of September,
Okay.
which I believe is the 18th and 19th, but you might want to check that math on me.
Sure.
It would be the Friday and Saturday, the third weekend of September. And we're going to do it. The plan is to actually stage it here at our headquarters at 1010 Hartford Avenue.
Okay.
We're going to have a remote drop-off site at the War Memorial Park on Hartford Avenue in Johnston.
Okay.
Mayor Policina, we approached him with the idea, and he is a huge supporter of veterans, and he said whatever Operation Stand Down needs, they get. So we would be having a check-in there for veterans, a screening, obviously, for COVID by health professionals to make sure that everybody that's coming up to our headquarters is in good health. And if they're not, we're going to get them screened and get them make sure that they're followed up with. But up here at 1010, we'd be providing housing, employment and training, legal assistance, and have the ability to working through our network with the courts, with the DMV, and of course with the VA to try to coordinate to help with those kinds of services as well. Be distributing food. It would be a smaller footprint. To describe it, it would be Stand Down Weekend light.
Sure.
But we also know that there's a different, there are also some people that might not have needed help last year that are going to need something this year.
Yeah.
And clearly the employment aspect is a big one. Rental assistance is huge. If you're a veteran, you've got active duty time and you meet the income guidelines, we can pay back rent. We've got the resources, and we want to make sure that we can do that to help vets.
It's incredible, and you're absolutely right. And the thing that is unique about what you folks do, and I've always long admired this and long respected this, especially with the stand down weekends, but just in general, the folks on your staff, the people who are volunteers, have great experience dealing with veterans, and a lot of them are veterans themselves, and they speak a common language. I'm not a veteran, so it's not a language that I can speak, but it's one of those things where brother to brother, brother to sister, or sister to sister in those armed forces, that's something unique, and there's a trust factor there that you and your team are really able to just are to kind of overcome, and helps them. And you folks have literally saved thousands of lives, if not tens of thousands, I have no doubt, because of the services you provide and just giving some of these men and women hope, which they've never experienced, because they're not used to doing a dial-in system, let alone going on the internet to file for anything or see what's available. It's tough for them, and your team is exemplary, absolutely to be commended for all of their efforts and all of their Just incredible work. Aside from money, which anybody out there would like to write a $1 million check, you can go right ahead and send it. Operation Stand Down, they'll take it, or any denomination. But what else? Is there anything else that right now is an immediate need or a long term need that you can share with our audience and possibly get some help with?
Sure. Well, obviously, besides the financial assistance and donations, which go directly to assist veterans, because our staff is primarily paid through grants. So when a donation's made, it goes to helping a veteran. But if you're an employer out there and you have an open job, a position ready to fill, give us a call, 383-4730. Go to our website and give us a call. We have veterans that are ready and willing to work, and we want to find employers to place them in. A job. I always say the military, your time in the military, whatever branch it was, can always be the job you're proudest of having and doing, but it doesn't have to be the last one that you enjoy. It's important. It's dignity. It's stability, and veterans are very dependable. They follow direction well. They are innovative, and they are team players. So these are quality placements to have in any business, no matter whether that's big or small.
Sure.
So that's one area that we certainly can use some help with. We're always collecting food and gift cards, which we give out to the veterans that come here for either gas or for food. If we'll give them a box of food right now, but if we can give them a Stop and Shop card so they can go get milk or something, that's great. Yeah. Or Price Right. So any of the markets are great. Whole Foods. So these are areas that are helpful at this point. And people just have to keep their eyes open and look at who's around you. You never know who's in need. We talk about helping some of the Rhode Island National Guard members. You had E1s, E2s. They're not making a lot of money. Maybe they lost their job. Now the insurance car bill can't get paid. That's something it snowballs, right? You think about it. I can't pay the bill. I'm working 12 hours. I'm working at a COVID tested site. I'm too tired to try to figure out how I'm going to deal with this right now. Next thing you know, you get stopped. You don't have insurance. Now your license is suspended. Oh my God, now what do I do? I got this fee, that fee. This is how we want to be the stopgap. We want to make sure that we get there before the next thing happens bad to anyone. Sure. And that's kind of the philosophy of Stand Down.
Awesome. Well, Erik, thank you so much to you, your entire staff, the volunteers, the organizations that support you. Obviously, Cardi's Furniture and Mattresses, Citizens Bank, Ocean State Job Lot. I mean, there's just so many great partners out there that have really they're just so critical to the support that they provide you folks. It's incredible.
We couldn't do it. We couldn't do it without them all.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Go to their website, ladies and gentlemen, learn about this organization. Even if you're a vet that is well off or everything's fine and organized, sign up and help. And because there's a connection out there that could be made, even if it's just one veteran, and that could be the life you save now in 2020 and beyond. So it's so critical. Sir, I will let you get back to your work. Thank you so much for your time. And
all right,
we'll chat soon. Hey, maybe after this whole COVID thing's over, we can go get that lunch we've been talking so long about. So
we'll head down to McBride's.
Awesome. Very good.